Hey everybody, it's Tracy, and I get a lot of questions about starting a neobank. I wanted to create a series, if you will, about the basic steps to go ahead and do so. And my strategy discussions mostly US centric, but most of it will apply to EU neobank structures. Let's start. Stage one is what I'd call discovery, right? And when you go through any financial licensing process, most of the ones, especially like offshore or anywhere else, no matter what it is, banking, Forex, you name it, it's always requires a business plan, right? And as an entrepreneur, speaking to mostly entrepreneurs, that's the dumbest thing ever, right? Because it's not like I wake up every day and don't know what to do. Then I look at this magical business plan, which says, well, hey, today's July 19th. Go do this, right? It's nonsense. So I'm not suggesting you do that, but you have to define yourself and how you're going to make money because it's becoming a crowded space and there's different models and people don't realize that there's different models. So first off, the term neobank is often misinterpreted. Neobank just means it's a digital bank, right? Meaning like there's no physical branches, there's like no ATMs. It's purely online and mobile, right? And you have two models there under. You have the full stack neobank, and then you have the partnership model. The full stack neobank contemplates getting your own banking license and just remaining online and mobile. The partnership model requires partnering with a banking as a service provider and also actual licensed bank. So take like Chime, for instance, right? They do not have a banking license. They're the largest neobank in the United States by number of customers, and they utilize this model and it works quite well. And we'll get into the economics of this in subsequent recordings. But from there, once you've decided that, and overwhelmingly for a neobank, based on the lower barriers to entry, you're not going to get a license, like a banking license from a state or a federal regulator, because it's expensive, it's wildly time consuming, and requires significant capital. Whereas to do the partnership model, it's quick, cost effective, and relatively easy to do. So once you've gotten beyond that point, and this is where I think most people sort of stumble, it's how you're actually going to make money, right? Because again, if you're going the partnership route, you don't have like the infrastructure costs of like buildings and, a lot of people and so on and so forth. But you have to decide how you make money. And if you like survey the landscape of neobanks in the United States, overwhelmingly all of which are following a partnership and banking as a service model, they really focus on four types of revenue. One is account services, right? Like just like your regular bank, they charge like a fee for, maintaining the account, which is what I would, in my opinion, the least successful of all the revenue models. Two, the interchange fees. So they set the bank up, offer free banking, free depository services, and then take a fee every time you use your debit card, right? And inexplicably, that adds up to a fair amount of money, provided you can grow your customer base and they use the card, which they will, because it's not really a cash-driven thing, right? Third is the asset model. And the asset model is offering, like Aspiration is an example of this, offering like products like savings and other things like that, which, provide competitive rates versus traditional banks, and in turn bring in attract more capital, because like for a savings account, for instance, they'll offer more. It just makes it more attractive. And then finally, you have like a credit-based, or what I call like the product model, where you offer something like a secured credit card or a low limit credit card and back that with a bank account, right? So you're earning money off like just as a typical credit card provider would with interest, And then you have the back end banking, which is like tied to the credit card and the payments being made on the credit card. And you see a few of those, and that those are a little bit harder because of like the credit and the lending aspects of it to sort of focus, but we'll get to that later. So really the most, in my opinion, what I've seen and set up is the interchange, right? That's like the most common. Chime. It's all interchange, right? Like, doesn't cost you anything to just maintain an account. You don't get like a $10 fee to, every month if you don't have $1,000. Everything's electronic as it is. Like, they don't send you something for a statement, all that. So you have to choose amongst those, right? And also, whether you're doing personal banking or commercial banking, that's a big part of it. And when you get into cross-border payments, right, then those interchange fees get even higher. And you'll see with a lot of neobanks, they're the first banks that a lot of people, especially if they're like freelancers who are outside the United States or vice versa, will go to because they'll get onboarded the quickest. So, steps like 1 and 2, or just call it 1, is decide what you want to be, the full stack or a banking as a service provider plus partner bank, and then how you're actually going to make money, right? And interchange, asset model, product model, and account services model, right? So that's step 1. I will follow up tomorrow with step 2 on how to create a neobank. But if you have any questions in the meantime, definitely hit me up, Adam@adamtracy.io, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.